Good morning and welcome to Wellness Wednesdays. Today I wanted to talk to you about why your thoughts are so important and how they can lead you to feeling better all around. So I want to ask you a question. Can you control your thoughts? I doubt there is a consensus on the matter. Before I get into if you can or can't, I want to touch on how thoughts impact us. When we are in a good frame of mind and thinking positively, then we see the world in a different light and we can see how something can help us. But when we are sad or having a lot of negative thoughts, then how we view the world changes and it becomes hard to see how any situation can help us at all. So the best thing would be to think positive thoughts more often, right? I can hear some people in the back stating that they're not pessimists, just realists. Studies have shown that optimists live longer and happier lives overall, but that doesn't mean you can't be realistic. A pessimist can still hold delusions just as an optimist can. Les Brown, a great motivational speaker, has said that those that say they can and those that say they can't are both usually right. This saying has been shown true more and more as the years have come along. Now, can your thoughts be controlled? They can. It's not easy, but they can. A lot of people in the field of neuroscience like to refer to this as neurohacking, but it is not as complex as all that. What it boils down to is forming habits and enforcing those habits. Most people use triggers to help them form these habits. For example, there is one lady that uses a countdown from 5 when she needs to do something or stop her chain of thinking. She will count from 5 to 1, then think in her mind what she should focus on or what she should do, and then do just that. Others have a strong word that they use, like shatter or stop, and have a mental image to go along with it to enforce that. This technique is one that you have to figure out for yourself and find what works for you. What it does is activate the frontal cortex of your brain. This part of your brain controls a lot of things, along with controlling the forming of new habits, problem solving, emotions, and spontaneity. The reason this is important is because we are on autopilot more than we think we are. When we are driving to work and do not remember all the trip, that's because our brain was on autopilot and we weren't doing much thinking. This also happens with our thoughts. If we have developed a habit of thinking a specific way when something happens, then we will likely react that way even if we really don't want to the next time. Like your boss calls you into his office, you know you've done nothing wrong, but you've built fear around that call from the past, or stories that you've heard. So you're a little panicky, even though you really have no reason to be. You need to disrupt the autopilot and start a new thought process. You have to slowly form a new habit. As a side note, your brain is horrible at knowing the difference between excitement and fear. Close to the same receptors get used for both responses, so it really boils down to how your brain categorizes a situation, based on how you've thought about it or things like it. So when you feel yourself getting nervous, think of it as an exciting thing instead. It helps to record that scenario in your brain in a more positive light. Our brains, even when we get older, are still very able to change and adapt. Not as much as when we were younger, but still more than we think we can. You can teach an old dog new tricks if it wants to learn. How it works is the brain forms new pathways for new ways of thinking or new tasks. When it is first formed, the receptors are not very close together, but the more you think that way or the more you do that task, the closer those receptors get together, and the faster the signal becomes, and thus the easier it becomes. You can slowly over time train your brain to think differently than its current default setting. In essence, you will be taking a new path to work each day and training your brain on that path until its autopilot can kick in for that path. Not too many know that I struggle with depression. My faith is a major help with this, and finding out these methods and reasons have helped me even more. If you had asked me last year if I would be making YouTube videos, I would have told you that I wanted to, but there was no point. Now I am doing it because if these videos help even one person, even if I never find out they helped that person, then it'll be worth it. Ask me a year ago if I could lose weight. I would have told you I know how, but that I don't see the point. Now I've lost 30 pounds, and my reasons are many, and they are all important to me. My point in telling you these things is to show that we can change our thinking and how we view things. Perspective is changeable and controllable. We just have to put in effort to do so. It is simple, but not easy. This is because we already have pathways built for our old ways of thinking and our old habit. We already know that road, and it holds less surprise. It is hard, but as Maya Angelou said, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. She was a very smart lady. Change is hard. I haven't known a time when it's been easy. Most say that change only happens when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing. Figure out what works for you. Figure out what you want for yourself. Then figure out the steps needed. Because if you're not moving towards what you want, what gives you joy or hope or satisfaction, then you are slowly killing yourself. As somebody who did, and sometimes still does, take the bad roads and go on those spiraling trips downwards, please fight for what will make you happy, what will bring you satisfaction. It's important for you and all those around you. I wish for you to have a life of wellness. This has been Wellness Wednesdays with Kyle. Remember, fortune favors the bold. Take care.